Joining me this month for July. My newsletter, the topic was spiritual independence. And of course, that came about because of July being the 4th of July for us Americans. We talk about independence, and I wanted to talk about the freedom that spiritual independence brought about. And there were several things that helped bring about my spiritual independence. Of course, there was the 12 steps of recovery. There was the religions that I experienced throughout my life, and I wanted to talk about those throughout the video blog this month. But first, the first one was going to be about the spiritual recovery part and how the 12 steps of recovery began that for me. And out of the 12 steps, each one is so important. So it's hard to pick just one. But if I had to pick one to start, I think what really helped bring it about for me was step 3. And made a decision to turn my will and my life over to a God of my understanding as I understood him. And that was so liberating. Now, you could break that step down for me 4 different ways. And one was make a decision, and that's all I was doing. I wasn't taking any action because if you're in 12 steps of recovery, you know those action steps come in 4, 5, 6, and 7. So all I had to do was make a decision saying, yes, this is what I'm going to do. The second one is turn my will. And I had to explore what my willfulness was and what was blocking me, and turn my will and my life. And certainly at that point in time in my life, my way wasn't working. And I did have a deep belief in God. I was just felt I had no connection, and that was due to my disease and my low self-esteem and everything else that came along with that. So I was very willing to turn my life over to someone else because my way wasn't working. And then that 4th piece in there was to a God of our understanding. And that was really key because I was raised Catholic, became a Hindu monk, started to explore Buddhism afterwards. And then at that point in time in my life, I was living and married a Jewish woman of the Jewish faith. And I loved the tradition and everything that came along with that. So I was like, what God am I going to turn this life and willfulness over to? And that last part, as we understood him, gave me that independence, gave me that freedom of choice, and I was able to pick a little bit of everything, and thus begin my path, my spiritual journey, and find my spiritual independence. I hope that has helped some of you, and I'd love to hear back from you. Again, if you haven't saw my newsletter about spiritual independence, just go to www.ah-man.com, and that will be my blog, and on there will be a place to sign up and receive the most recent newsletter. Namaste.